Perfect Ted, and we're on HelpBnk. Today we're going to be answering some of your questions on how to build a multi-million-dollar brand. I want to start a product business. What do I need to know? Here are my 3 tips. 1 is that you have to obsess over your product. If you don't have a good product at a baseline, you could do all the marketing in the world, but you won't get repeat purchase. 2 is that distribution does matter. We've had the heydays of D2C brands, but truly omni-channel brands will be the winners in the long term. You need retail partners to really scale. And I would say 3 is expect chaos. With a physical product-based business, you will be carrying stock to and from shows, events, and so on. But it's very chaotic.
What was the turning point on your journey? This is undoubtedly, single-handedly Dragon's Den. Completely changed our lives and the business overnight. If you're a brand and you get the opportunity to go on Dragon's Den, you have to take it. It'll be life-changing.
What's the biggest risk you've taken? I think the biggest risk we've taken is building in public from day one. So one of our first hires was a videographer because we wanted to record everything on the journey. That's amazing when things are going great, but when things aren't going so great, you get a lot of hate, and it's really, really tough to share that and share the struggles with your community. So building in public was a massive risk, and I think it's paid off.
How do you convince skeptics to try your product? Force it into their hands? No, I'm joking, but actually allowing for opportunities to sample and educate customers.
I think the number one barrier to purchase is sample. So we spend a lot of time and a lot of money making sure that people try the product for free the first time or as frequently as possible. Once people try the product, if it's good enough and they love it, they will repeat purchase.
Can you succeed in business without prior experience? Absolutely. None of us had prior experience in the food and beverage space, and we believe the best way to learn is by doing, getting your hands in the thick of it and really just executing, doing the work yourself. Also surrounding yourself with the right people and mentors to guide you on your journey.
I also think that naivety is a superpower, because when you don't know how hard it's going to be to start a business, you're almost more likely to just dive in head first.
Yeah, you really don't know how steep the learning curve is until you're on it.
How do you find your why? I think the why is essential because it's the reason you wake up every day and you obsess over your craft. However, I don't think you necessarily need to have your why down to a T at the very beginning. Your why evolves. The reason you start the business can change. For example, it could be because you hate what you're currently doing, but 3 years down the line, it could be because there's a massive financial payout 2 years down the line, or because you're helping people, or whatever you're doing. The why can evolve. You shouldn't be ashamed of that.
How do you spot market opportunities? I think about it in 3 ways to decide whether there's an opportunity that we should go after. The first is, why me? Do you have a unique perspective or capability that will allow you to win in the market? Second is, why now? Has this been tried before? And if it didn't work before, why would it work now? Is there a specific reason why you're starting it now? Is it the market is right for it, or there's a particular problem that you're solving? Is the opportunity big enough? You know, we're building something iconic here, or trying to build something legendary. And ultimately, when you're going through the shit of building a business, you will always think, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Sometimes people will say to you that product makes no sense. There isn't a gap in the market for that. It's not an opportunity. But typically the best ideas come from people who have pain points in that space. So for Marissa, she has ADHD and anxiety, and that's where the need for matcha, the need for a healthy energy came from. Going off one of your own pain points is the best way to spot a market opportunity.
The last thing I'll say, I just need to build on that, because I think this is one of the most important things. I don't want to say it to the camera. You have got to be in the market to spot a market opportunity. And that's why it all goes back to just start, because your why, the vision for the company, the product, all of that will evolve. It cannot evolve if you're not evolving from a starting point.
The man or the woman in the arena. Very great quote. I'd suggest, why don't you overlay it?
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, thank you. I don't remember the full one, but it's a great quote. What went into the process of developing Perfect Ted? Okay, we're going to take it back to the very beginning. We had no prior food and beverage experience, as mentioned, so we actually deferred to experts, which was a very good decision because we knew we didn't know how to make a commercial recipe viable. So we worked with recipe developers to help find the perfect suppliers for our flavors, for our juices. But because matcha is the key ingredient, we obviously went direct to the source, and we tried sourcing the best quality matcha that we could find in all of Japan from Uchi, the region renowned for producing the highest quality matcha. So we knew that we wanted to deliver a superior product that was incredibly premium. And that's why we went to that location to source it. We're actually going in 2 weeks. A lot goes into it. You have to think about branding, promotion, obviously flavor profile. We knew we wanted to create a product that was palatable, delicious, and great for first timers, because we were opening up the matcha market to first timers, that never tried the product before.
How do you ensure your product was premium while still affordable for consumers? Great question. When we first started and we came into the market, brands selling matcha, they weren't even matcha brands, they were selling you this product for £30 plus, and we sell it today for less than £10. The reason we sell it for less than £10 isn't because we couldn't command a higher price. It's because being first to market in the UK, we have an obligation to set a price that is fair for consumers. The single best piece of advice I can give you when it comes to setting your pricing is think long term. Don't be caught in the trap of pricing high because you can. Really be fair to consumers and be clear about your value proposition when it comes to pricing.
But it totally depends on what you're trying to achieve with your brand, because for us, it is about accessibility and bringing everyone along the journey with us. If you are trying to purposely create a premium brand that is exclusive, then obviously you need to take pricing into account there as well. Pricing is an indicator of quality, but that's not always the case because ours is great quality.
The most common feedback we get, to be honest, is how can it be that good if it's that cheap? We're trying to re-educate consumers to give them the frame of mind that actually really good quality products can be cheap, and to not just use price as an indicator of quality.
How do you stand out on shelf?
If you're bringing out a product that is meant to be sold in retail, I'd recommend spending a lot of time looking at shelves, looking at your competition, and doing something different to everyone else. We noticed that there were no bright green cans in a chiller of a supermarket. You have to think about color, you have to think about messaging, boldness of fonts, even format of pack. For instance, we were in a small 30-gram tin in this before moving into this because we realized that this actually takes up more surface area on the shelf. You need to make sure that if you start D2C, optimize your products for retail.
Be big, be bold, and be clear.
What's been the toughest challenge in launching and growing a product business? The toughest challenge for me at the beginning was trying to convince people that we were a product and a brand worth backing and that we actually deserved a space on the shelf. At the beginning, it will feel like you are pushing a massive rock up a hill. No one wants to respond to your emails. No one wants to talk to you. No one wants to invest in you. No one wants to list your product. The truth is, no one gives a shit about you. What we had to do over the next year was give people a reason to care. There will be a moment in your journey, and I can promise you, it is true for all brands, all products. It is a single truth when it comes to building a business. There'll be a moment where it turns from feeling like you are pushing that rock up a hill to that rock spiraling out of control and running down the hill way quicker than you can keep up with. If you push through that pain long enough, I promise you, it will get easier. How do you grow fast while staying true to your brand values? I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. I think for us, we kept a lot of the functions associated with brand under the founders, even today. Very early on, what brands will do is they will outsource marketing, content creation to agencies, and they won't retain control of their brand voice, their content, their marketing, all that jazz. For us, we play a very heavy role in our marketing and across all departments. Some may say that as a founder, of our size, maybe you should start having an EA or a chief of staff. But I think for us, having direct involvement in every department isn't micromanaging. It's sensible, and it's the key to our success. How important is it to take risks? You should not be in this game if you're not willing to take risks. I think our number one function as founders is to make calculated risks every single day in the best interest of our business. And the difference, I think, between good founders and great founders is the ability to make those decisions and take the right decisions quickly and at pace. The worst decisions we've made are the right decisions that have taken us too long to decide. It is honestly, and we talk about this a lot, Levi, it is way better, in our opinion, to make a suboptimal decision quicker than to make the perfect decision slower.
How important is community? Community is everything. People want to belong. That's why we have families. That's why we have sports teams. That's why we have religion. There's 3 parts to the community. There's the 20% who are total fans, love it, and anything you say is gospel. There's 60% that don't really have an opinion, but are part of the community. And there's 20% who are going to hate you no matter what you say. it's most important to engage that top 20%. The people who love you and are obsessed with your brand, are obsessed with your community, really focus on them. You have to piss off 80% of the people to get the 20% that really matter.
How has the right mentor shaped your journey? We've all had different mentors along the journey. I think some key ones are Stephen Bartlett. It has been great to get his feedback and input, which has been super valuable in itself. To be honest, a big part of his value for me personally was wanting to prove him right in backing us. I think subconsciously, when you have a mentor that you look up to, honestly, like everything that I did every day for a period of time was in some weird way to impress him and his team, because I regarded them so highly and it pushed me to be better. There have been moments on this journey where we've considered playing it safe, and I think having people in your corner that will push you beyond what you think is possible. Impossible takes time. Impossible doesn't happen overnight, and having people in your corner that will back you to achieve that is powerful.
I think that especially when you're first-time founders and new in an industry, having the buy-in and belief of someone else who you hold in really high regard and who maybe has done it before gives you confidence, because they've seen something in you clearly. They've invested in you, whether it's in actual, a financial investment or in time and advice. They clearly see some value that you're doing and bringing to the world.
And then last thing for me, I'd say is having mentors outside the immediate day-to-day of the business is huge. We live in the minutia, in the bullshit, in the scraps, in the losses and the small wins and the details, the ones that keep you up at night. Having someone outside that room, outside the office, that's kind of third party, whether it be a parent, whether it be Stephen Bartlett, whoever it is, that can ask you questions that are bigger picture and push you to think bigger picture and push you to think bigger generally, are amazing, because it takes you out of the echo chamber that is the business and out of the minutia, and allows you to work on the business, not in the business.